me on this day. And by the way, thanks for doing that. I know you got a lot of stuff going on, and we have a lot of stuff going on. It's cool to spend some time together and just getting to look and hear some amazing stories, but also to ask ourselves internally some powerful and important questions. And if you're with me today, thank you for taking the time to do that. Go ahead and feel free to share out the stream. We are live on multiple platforms, but if you've got some friends and family or somebody who you're trying to get into the idea of investing in real estate and you don't quite know how to bring up the conversation, let me do it for you. Go ahead and go to CashFlow Tribe on YouTube and share the stream out with people. Or you can hit up our Facebook page at CashFlow Tribe, or our Facebook group, which is a private community we have. And feel free to join our community, join the group, and keep the conversation going. We believe that people are in different stages of their journey. There's what we call the brand newbie, and those are folks who are just getting started with the idea of investing. And they're in what we call the seed stage. We're just planting seeds of confidence, planting seeds of information about investing. And you're kind of observing and you're trying to figure out where are you in this journey and is this something that you want to do? And if that's the case, welcome. And I hope that this message will inspire you today. And join our community for free on CashFlow Tribe on our Facebook group. Then we have people that are beyond the seed stage. Maybe you're looking at buying your first property. You've got a job, you've got some different things, you've got some credit. You're trying to figure out, okay, I want to get my first deal. How do I do that? In a hot market like we have today, and don't kid yourself, we are in a hot market. How do I get that next deal? Or I bought one property, how do I buy a second one? How do I move forward? How do I take that next level of action? We have folks that are in that stage, and for them, it's really about the encouragement and some of the tactical stuff and creating accountability to take that first step. Then we have folks who've already bought a couple deals. And you're maybe a small business owner right now listening to me speak, and you're saying, well, I have a small business. I'd love to do real estate, or I'm in real estate. I'm a contractor. I'm a flipper. I'm a landlord. I want to really amp this up and turn it into a business, because right now it's more of a hobby, and I might be working at my full-time job, and I've got a couple deals on the go. And how do I turn this into a viable business, like Alex flipping 7 properties at once and taking the entire last week off to hang out with his family and only being available by phone? Then we have what we call our professional business owners. You already have an active business and you're already running forward and you're trying to do more deals. And the real question then is, how do you build the team? How do you create capital culture? How do you go ahead and raise enough money so that you can fund your operations? How do you focus on the sales and marketing process? And how do you tie all of that together with leadership? If you're in any one of these 5 categories, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm going to encourage you to take a moment and go ahead and just book a call. It's a discovery call with us. You can do that by simply snapping a picture of the QR code below or going to the link that's flashing on your screen. I think you should all do that, because if nothing else, you can have a positive person on the other side of the phone, have a pleasant conversation with you, and try to give you some guidance or clarity, or at very minimum, listen to what you're doing and try to move you along the path. It's a completely complimentary call. There's no push to take any action beyond that call. But I would encourage every single person who's here today to go ahead and click that link or go ahead and snap a picture of that QR code. And I would encourage you to do that now while we have a quick break here. And one quick bonus, because we're living in abundance today, and I'd like to see one person take home $1,000 cash. We're going to put up $1,000 here as a way of just saying, have an amazing day, as a way of saying there is hope for you, as a way of saying move on to the next level of your journey. Don't relent, don't get complacent, but instead take action. Instead, move forward. And now you might go, well, I'm skeptical Sarah. Well, then perhaps you should book a call with the real Sarah, who is waiting on the other side of the phone to chat with you, to say hello. And she's not skeptical Sarah. She'll be able to chat with you, connect with you, and help you move forward in your real estate journey. By the way, if you've already booked it, congratulations. And maybe at the end of this call in just a few hours here, when we're completely done and we announce the winner, you might go, oh, crap, I should have got that $1,000 because somebody's going to get $1,000 cash. And if you're not a believer of this lottery, then make sure you're tuned in at 5:30 when we announce the winner. Okay, moving forward, I've got an awesome guest coming in, Keith Maxey, a good friend of mine who's in the mentorship, and I've known Keith here for over a year. He and Allison are actually partners in Blue Ocean Group, which is an investment company here out of the Kitchener-Waterloo region. And Keith is just a stud. He was a small business owner coming into council. He's got a heart of a lion, and they've done some flips. They've done a lot of different things, and recently they've added a new component to their business that's become their intense focus, which is Airbnb. He's quickly being known as Airbnb Keith, and I'm so excited to have Keith here. Keith, welcome to the live stream, my brother.
Thanks so much, Ben. I'm honored to be here.
Dude, you always kill me with the gaming headset because it's always so much bigger than what I have, this little thing here. So it's been awesome watching your journey over the last year. I know that, as a small business owner, you coming into this realm, you already understand the nature of I'm here to build a business. You didn't have the 9 to 5, kind of restrictions that most people have. You've got a mindset of I'm here to build a business, but I'm here to build a business that works. So what I'd love to do, Keith, is get a sense from you, where were you at, like maybe the months leading to your decision to join council? What was your business like? Where are you coming from prior to being in this community?
Yeah, so really leading up, I was already at a point of stepping away from my business and backing out of it. And, we had an amazing experience in 2020 where all of a sudden we had this major pandemic, lockdown, major people freaking out. But ultimately, it was actually the perfect pivotal moment for me. Two things happened that I think have really defined where I am today. So number one, I made that decision, I could go back to this business and really refocus on it, but it wasn't driving the passion. It wasn't driving enough revenue in order for me to see it be successful. I had been working at it for 8 years, slogged and grinded through 2 different provinces, actually 3 different provinces, opening up, a studio in Halifax at one point, just chasing tax credits and getting behind the way that the funding works in the video game industry. So selling off the business was a major decision where I was now free and an empty vessel ready to be filled. And then the other decision that I had done is I had already been working on a property where I was turning it into an Airbnb, where, I come from the tech space. I had stayed at dozens of Airbnbs over the years, and I thought, maybe this is a good time to do it. So I launched it 1 week before the lockdown, and I was still able to maintain a 90% occupancy rate. I did very well, and I thought this should be something that I'm going to be pursuing into the future. So after I think I joined in April, in the spring. Anyway, it was right around the time of the lockdown. I thought, this is the perfect time. I get to walk away from everything. I'm launching this new little product at my property, but I need to go up to the next level. I need to skip ahead so many years of trying to do it on my own and trying to bash my head against the wall and break things. I want to learn, so I don't have to wait. I want those results today. So as soon as I saw that there was an opportunity of joining one of the council weekend workshops, I was there, and I was the first one. Shut up and take my money. I'm ready to join.
So Keith, that's interesting you say that because my experience is a little bit different. When I was flipping houses, I flipped dozens of deals. And I got to a point where I was hit my head against a brick wall. I was struggling to grow the business. I was struggling to find deals. And I met a guy, and I said, listen, I've done a couple dozen deals, and I'm building a business. He says, well, I've done hundreds. So, well, how the hell have you done hundreds? I've only done dozens in the same period of time. And he told me, you just don't know what you don't know. For me, it was about I hit a wall. And then I was like, I need help because I can't get to the next level without some clarity, without guidance, without somebody who's gone to the next level, because I was basically just figuring stuff out. But I did struggle for 4 or 5 years. I was the guy who I probably could have got to a point much, much sooner had I had the level of clarity, confidence, and the proven plan. So for you, when you saw it, I get a sense that you were like, oh, this is an obvious shortcut. This guy obviously hit his wall. This guy's done 300 deals. This guy's already done the stuff that I'm attempting to do. Was that what it was for you as a small business owner? Were you able to see the ROI easier than perhaps somebody who still has an active job and doesn't have that context of investing in themselves or their business?
The way I would consider it is that for when I first started out in the video game industry, there was only one school, as far as I knew, out in BC, I think at the time, or in Seattle, that taught anything to do with video games. There was nothing out there. And I always said, like, if I had the opportunity where, you know, I taught at a private college, I taught at University of Laurier, teaching video game development, specifically mostly in game design, some art, but ultimately these were students who didn't realize the potential that they had and the opportunities of that education, that they were actually getting people who hit their head against the wall for years trying to figure out the technology, figure out game design, figure out everything else. They had all this wealth of information that was brought to them. And, you know, some of the students didn't really pay attention. They would play World of Warcraft and never go anywhere. But the ones who really understood exactly the wealth of information ahead of them would grab it, digest it, and spit out way faster. I saw so many students of mine actually exceed my own personal expectations of where they were ever going to end up in that industry. And so when I saw council as an opportunity, I knew that this was my university. This was my education that I needed. It was going to allow me to propel myself forward so much faster than you know, any other school was going to be able to go out there. I mean, there's all kinds of free content that you can get on YouTube, on Instagram, on any other platform. That's all great. But it's also the relationships. When it really comes down to it, it's those relationships that you can have where you have these deep networks where people really care about your success, because your success is going to be their success in a lot of cases. So that is where I felt that council really provided that extra level. It's not just the education. Education's a great piece. The whole the mentorship level is a great piece. The relationships is a great piece. It all comes together. It's a very, like you were saying earlier, it's a very holistic approach to how I need to be. It's also the same way with how my business needs to be.
Okay, dude, and I'm glad you're bringing up those points. So I'm going to hammer on you a little bit here. I know we were hanging out last night, and by the way, for me, mentorship is a collective of amazing humans. So hang out together, have meals together. That's what it should be. I'm going to hammer on you a little bit. You obviously care a lot about education. You know, you've taught, you've done different things. To me, information, it gets convoluted with education. I think it's, in my personal opinion, I think information is completely useless unless applied. But I'm also the guy who failed math 2 times in high school because, frankly, I didn't see the point of learning it, so I just didn't apply myself. Show me something technical that I can use, and I'm all for it. Again, I'm not the smartest guy, Keith, but that's just how it worked out for me. So information for the sake of information, content for the sake of content is utterly useless to you in your life. You'll know something else, but if you're not doing it, then what's the point? You're just consuming. It's a television show. It's not a real meaningful value to you. You might as well go watch The Walking Dead. I don't know. Same stuff. Can you tell me maybe your opinion? Did you pay for like mentorship before? Was this idea new? Had you already been in different mentorships or coaching programs or whatever? And then maybe the difference between information and applied information in your mind, is there a difference? Am I embellishing? Give me your thoughts on this, man.
Yeah, so I actually had 2 opportunities with mentorship with my first video game studio. I ran it out of Oakville and then later on in the Niagara region in Ontario. One was through a funding organization that I was looking to see, hey, would you guys fund me? And they were like, no, we don't do like funding deals. We support businesses through mentorship. I didn't even know what mentorship was at the time. And I look back quite fondly at the people who really gave me that initial leg up. These were people who were supporting a young person who wanted to build their own business but didn't really have a clue of how to do it. So walking me through those steps. And then the next time I actually had mentorship, again, it was from real estate investors. Some guy across the street from where my office was, I was getting to know a lot of people in the community. And, you know, he had a website where he sold it to a major newspaper chain on how to rent apartments back in 2008, 2009. So very early technology. And he was telling me all about how you could buy a house and fix it up and then get another mortgage on it for more than what you originally had and have cash back in your pocket. And I was like, this guy's a scam. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't get it. And boy, going back nowadays, I kind of really didn't give him the credence that he actually deserved. And the mentorship that was available to me that I think I didn't shut it down, but I didn't really grasp just that concept at the time. And now over the years, after holding some properties and doing some deals, I now realize, okay, I never want to let that go again. Hindsight is 2020, but looking at the future, I saw that counsel really was that place where that mentorship existed. I didn't want to pass up that opportunity. I knew that this is a way that I can just hop in the speedboat and just go zipping down as fast as I could.
I love it, man. I love it. Keith, can you hit me with something here? Like you're developing the Airbnb Keith thing. And in the last few minutes we have, what I'd like for you to do is talk about you as a business owner and how you're applying real estate to a little bit of the technology and to the thinking cap. You're doing something very different and unique. And I know you've done a lot of deals, and now you're really trying to redevelop this Airbnb space into a unique business that you and Allison Suzuki have together. Could you kind of share and give some of our folks the idea that it's not just real estate? Talk about your business. I'd like to get to know more about you guys.
Yeah, so really Airbnb is all about hospitality. It's all about making sure that your customer service level is on point, that you're able to surprise and delight your guests at all times. As well, since we deal with a lot of clients, that we actually work with our investors who hold property and want to make better cash flow, we are able to make sure that they have a very passive income. We try to come in as, honestly, the middleman. That will actually connect the very active side of Airbnb with the investor side so that people are able to not deal with a very active business. So there's a great way that we're able to come in and do that. Now, through the technology, we're really focusing on making sure that, especially with COVID, contactless technology is amazing. We have automated locks, automated security. Everything that we're doing is allowing us to take one step further away from actually being present right there. And we're now taking a look at new technology. I don't know, Allison kind of pointed me in a direction earlier this weekend, where we're looking now at technology, how we can even elevate the client, the guest, where the user can go in and maybe they really like using a Peloton. So they can hop on a Peloton bike and they have that account, they can go forward with that. And just really bringing a lot of that technology. But we also want to make sure that we're having sort of that luxury appeal. And there's a certain client guest avatar that we're really building towards. And it's something that we really are really excited about, and something that we're going to be doing some big announcements in the near future.
Dude, I love that. You see, you're in business in the real estate space. And I think this is a pivotal point to make today, is that real estate investing versus real estate business ownership, like there's a difference here. If you're not real estate investing if you're borrowing money, you're real estate investing if you have money, right? And you go, I'm parking it here and I have no active operation. I'm simply getting a return. We could say that's real estate investing or passive investing. But if you're borrowing money, leveraging, doing active operations, collecting rents, doing all this stuff, you're a real estate business owner, which means that forget about the fundamentals of real estate and start focusing on the fundamentals of business. I think that's the key differentiator between counsel and whatever else is out there. So Keith, I love that you're focusing on a business that happens to be in the real estate sector that allows you guys to implement and add technology and do the rest of the stuff. And you're making it, you're bringing something that into a 21st kind of century thinking. And, you know, with this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe yours is more of an Airbnb arbitrage opportunity, right? Strategy that you guys are building into, or am I wrong on that?
Actually, I'll say you're wrong. Arbitrage is the idea of a rent to rent, where you're renting out a property and then you're renting it onto Airbnb. And then, you know, after all your expenses of the rent, operating costs, cleaners, you pocket the difference. Instead, what we do is a management profile, or also called co-hosting. What we do is we work with our clients. We actually come in, we do all the Airbnb, the client owns it. We don't come in as a tenant. We come in almost as a partner. On our end, though, what we do is we perform all of the Airbnb activities, and then we give the bulk of that revenue to the owner. So we're just taking a commission fee as part of that structure. So the better we do, the better we'll earn. So we're actually driven and incentivized to do the absolute best for that owner. But the better we do, the owner will actually even have a larger multiple return on that.
Yeah, okay, so that's definitely different than your standard Airbnb arbitrage opportunity. This is a whole different model altogether. Lori wants to know, is this for condos, houses, or both?
Yeah, actually, we take a look at pretty much any property. If anybody wants to contact us, like we'll be able to go through the through an analysis and really tell you what the revenue would look like on a property. But it can be anywhere. We do try to stay away from condominiums because condo bylaws can shut you down at the last minute, or they may not even allow it. We also have to do a lot of due diligence to make sure a city even allows it in the first place. Like you may have heard of Toronto or Brantford, Ontario. Lots of cities are now putting in together either restrictions or outright banning it. So we do a lot of that to make sure that we can focus on
So,
those areas.
so just to articulate, like in council, we're really building businesses here, and some people are building, small wholesaling businesses that they use for their own personal, gain and monthly income. Other people are building more tech businesses that tie into the existing real estate sector and infrastructure, like what you guys are building. I think is more of a tech kind of business here in this space. You have a lot of elements which I think are amazing. Other people are building a more of a flipping style business. So I want to just clarify one thing. Strategy is relative to your personal goals. I know this comes up a lot, especially with new investors. What is the best strategy? Somebody's winning at something. Somebody's making money at something, and somebody is failing miserably at something all at the same time. So there's no best strategy. There's the best applicable strategy to your situation based on your skills, your resources, and your end game together. Dude, I think like I love what you're doing. I love that you partner with Allison. I've been able to see your business relationship mature over time, and you guys have gone into some different seasons and some different strategy opportunities, from the wholesaling stuff to some of the flipping stuff. And it's cool to see you guys can have a business here. Allison and her husband also have another business, and it's cool to see that the joint effort where you can keep growing and you can keep growing your business, generating profit, which is important for yourself primarily, and then creating the kind of life that you guys are happy. And what I really like about, I'll say this piece here, the fact that you're building a business that you like and you love, and it ties back into your skill set, to me is a massive kind of understated thing very often. I'm doing real estate. Do you like it? No, I hate my life. I have 16 doors, 14 tenants. They all suck, and they drive me crazy, and they call me every time it rains. Well, then what's the point? I don't know. There's no point. Well, I'm just going to suffer, and then one day, I'll be relinquished of this pain. You get to go, I'm building a business I like. It has elements of things that I like. I'm building it my way, and I think that's amazing. Keith, thank you for being here, man. How can people get more information about what you guys are doing or connect with you?
Yeah, so people can connect with me on Facebook, Keith Maxey. Very simple. Just be careful of the spelling of the last name. However, I did notice here online that the email address is an older one. It's actually keith@blueoceanpropgroup.com. Otherwise, I mean, you can either get in touch with me or with Allison and come to our webpage. We're going to be expanding that out in the near future. But yeah, anyway that you can catch me, also on Instagram as well.
Keith Maxey out of the Kitchener-Waterloo area. Thank you so much for being here, man. Appreciate you. Folks, the day's going. We're having an awesome time. Appreciate you guys for dialing in with us. We've got a few more amazing people. You absolutely want to connect with my next guest, my next council champion who's coming out. He is a young rock star doing a lot of things in the lending space. And guys, this is what we do. We find people of substance who really want to amplify their results in real estate, and they want to just jump in, and they want to commit, and they want to do the hard work, and they want to have the success on the back end. And I'm so honored to be a mentor in this company and be able to elevate people who need elevating. I think when you reach a level of success, there's an obligation where your mentor elevates you. Not about my ego. It's about the purpose and the alignment that we all have together. And if your mentor is not elevating you, time to rethink that. Just being clear here, because I believe we grow together when you elevate people of value who are doing amazing things, helping them share the message so we can share the prosperity gospel together. All right, we'll be right back after this short video. Do not go anywhere.
Hey guys, my name is TJ.
I'm Callie Braithwaite.
My name's Alex Mustatea.
Hello, my name is Catherine O'Neill.
My name is Alex Solga.
I had to go out west, 2 to 3 months at a time and leave my family here.
Real estate was always the end game to get me out of the 9-to-5 rat race.
I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship.
An old boss of mine mentioned her 5 real estate investment properties.
From 2012 to 2017, I had an absolute horrible experience. I was the hardest working guy I knew, and I was the brokest guy I knew.
And that's when I started flipping and failing and stuff, and then I just get frustrated because the time, it wasn't fast enough.
Discovered I was going in totally the wrong direction.
I made a promise to myself that I was going to be home with my family and watch them grow.
I knew there had to be a better way, and that's one of the big reasons why I joined council.
I thought to myself, I've got to join this group. Joined council, and I've been delighted ever since.
I learned about positive self-talk, mindset shift, how to actually build a business.
Like I've got 12 flips as of this year, 7 flips currently as I'm standing here. A business that's operating completely on its own. I have a lending company.
I was able to get into my first flip, and we were able to turn a $50,000 profit.
I'm learning things that I never knew before. Strategies were refined. I was able to build up confidence.
I believe that we can all win together. That's my preferred way of being.
It's awesome helping people because as much as I want to build my real estate portfolio, I love inspiring and helping people.
All right, welcome back, friends and family. Good to have you guys here. This is an awesome day. I hope you're feeling somewhat inspired and encouraged by some of the stories that we're sharing with you. And although we recognize that the journey isn't all rainbows, there's obviously a lot of stuff people have to go through, the mindset shift, the financial constraints and the shift to move from where you're at financially to the next spot. And sometimes it can be challenging, confusing, scary, fearful, all of the adjectives. Okay. But guess what? It's worth the journey. See, if you're sitting here watching me and you know that you deserve more than what you have, I'm a person that loves to encourage. I'm going to tell you, absolutely deserve more. Don't be bashful. Don't be shy. Don't live in fear. It doesn't matter what friends, family, and people from your environment tell you what can and cannot be done. A lot of times, friends, they just don't know. They haven't done it. So I'm here to encourage you. Sometimes you just need to be told you have permission. So I'm giving you permission. A man once gave me permission to go and live my life the way that I see fit, in a way that is meaningful enough to me. So I would encourage you, if you're here and you're listening to us and these conversations resonate with you, do yourself a favor. You have a scroll at the bottom of this video. Go ahead and just click the link that's there. Visit that landing page. Go ahead and check out the QR code. Either of these 3 works. Don't be confused. Just snap a picture. Book a call. Book a free call with us to just talk and share so we can understand you. It's called a discovery call. And if you book that today before 5:30, what we're going to do is we're going to have a conversation with you. We're going to get to know you better and try to give you some guidance. Whether mentorship is the right move for you today or not, it doesn't matter. You simply have to take one small step today to potentially have a very large success tomorrow. But all you got to do is take that one first step. It is the hardest thing to do. Trust me, I know. It is difficult to take that next step because you have 1,000 questions and 1,000 concerns. But one small phone call is not going to change your life, but it could be the start to the activity that does. So I encourage you, click that real quick, join us. And as an additional bonus today, because we're in a generous spirit, which we always are, we're giving out $1,000 in the next 2 hours to one of the people that book a complimentary call with us today. So if you want to win $1,000 cash, which is right in front of me right now, I'm glad to show it to you. $1,000 cash by simply clicking the link, booking a call, and connecting with us. All right, I'm amped up. We're jumping on to the next piece here. I love this next guy. In fact, we were hanging out yesterday in person. I'm in downtown Kitchener, Waterloo today, hanging out with our council members, which we do this every single month, by the way. And we're either in person or we have a tactical full day online. And, we do this in council. Council also has 3 or 4 structured calls every single week on business building, development, real estate building. We have one-on-one mentorship that's included. So a couple times per month, you will be speaking with a dedicated person who understands your journey, helping you get there. We share resources. We have personal development calls. We join on deals, joint venture together. We share money. there's so much that happens in this community. It can even be overwhelming how much support and encouragement happens. And yes, we are a positive group of people all the time. This next guy, I have a soft spot in my heart for, because not only have we done a lot of business together, not only do I encourage and support him to keep growing his business, but he came in with somewhat of an apprehension to coaching, to mentorship. You know, I'm a positive, upbeat guy. I can give out the wrong vibes. You might not like my vibe. What the hell? This guy's too damn happy. I don't like this kid. And that's okay. I don't need you to like me, but if I can help push you in the right direction, the results will speak louder than my words. So I'd like to welcome my good friend TJ, and I want him to dive into a story. This guy is what I call kind of a unicorn. Not only did he start and really grow a flipping business with his partner, Anna, he also used the strategies here to acquire a pawn shop with 100% financing, which is now growing into a sustainable business. And he recently launched a lending business, which is now helping tons of investors do deals, fund their purchases, their down payments. And, you know, TJ to me is that person who's pushing aggressively towards it. So I want you to dive in here with me. Everybody welcome. And by the way, share this out before I do that. Give this a quick share. Drop your comments for TJ and our guests, because I am looking at the comment window. Everybody welcome to the stage, my buddy, my friend, Mr. TJ.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Dude, that's an intro. So TJ's voice is here. My voice is here. But TJ operates with a level of purpose and meaning in what he does. And I just think, dude, like, you're such an inspiration to a lot of people. And I'm thankful to you for spending a lot of time with our community over the last several months, investing in other people that are also trying to grow to the level that you're at here today. TJ, here's what I want to get started with real quick. Can you give us a sense of what you were doing before mentorship, maybe some of the deals, some of the stuff you're working on, any business or job? Let everybody know, where were you a year and a bit ago before joining our community?
So a year and a bit ago, I worked in the oil fields for about 8 years. I would fly out there for like 6 or 7 months and then come back for a couple months. And I was always into real estate. So me and my wife, we started buying a house here or there to try and renovate and do what you see on HGTV. I had a little bit of experience in the family for doing finished carpentry and stuff. And we would spend 3, 4, 5 months trying to flip a house. In that time frame, I learned, you know, how to use, have people invest in me, private money, learn how the process of it. But the whole intention wasn't to flip; it was to burr. But you know, with that seasonal job and stuff, I didn't look great on paper. So the end step of a burr is to be able to refi. So every time we went to go refi, the bank was like, no, wait a minute. You don't have the income to qualify for this. So I do all the renovation stuff thinking I'm going to keep this property. Then I was forced to sell. And then I tried to do it again and it happened again. And then I was just got into the flipping game. From there, it was, we ended up, like, our daughter was just turning old enough to start school. And in the area I was living in, we had tenants in the basement, and the area wasn't the greatest. And the school zone was, you know, I didn't want my kid going to that school. So I was like, I got to get into this other neighborhood where I want my daughter to go to school. So we essentially, you know, flipped that property, flipped another property. We took all the money and we sunk it into, you know, a nice house in the nice area. And when we did that, again, you know, I assumed like we were going to qualify for the mortgage, and we went through and yada, yada. And then turns out they went from, hey, you're good at 20% down at first, which is what we had. And then they said, you know, you got to come up with 30, 35% down. That's a huge extra income coming in. So we ended up having to sell everything. So I went from, you know, getting a little bit of a nest egg to literally squashing my whole snowball of what we were doing. And we were like house poor. And it was just one of those things. It was so discouraging because you start getting momentum and stuff. And we had nothing. Like, we were literally like, lost my, the out west job, around the same time, during COVID. And I was like, I got to do something. and we had $500 in the bank account, and I remember there was a boot camp for CashFlow Tribe, and I was like, I gotta figure out how to do this better than I'm doing it right now, because this is too slow, like way too slow, and I got to move quick. I had a little bit of experience under me, and I just knew there was a better way. If I get around people that are doing what I want to do at the level of what I want to do it, maybe I can find that cheat code. Maybe I can, go quicker. So I took that $500, did the weekend workshop, and, met the other mentors. And it was a huge mindset shift. Like, holy moly, all of this could be possible. And then 4 weeks later, ended up raising the money, and then 12 months fast forward, I'm here. So
okay, dude, awesome. So you're literally got your last $500. You see a weekend workshop. Maybe there's people like that in the audience right now. Like, dude, I got $500 to my name. I got a family to feed. I'm house poor, which I know a lot of Canadians are house poor. I see it all over the news. You buy this thing. And then what happens? What happens over the next few months with mentorship? Kind of give us a chronological order, maybe some of the deals you did or some of the stuff that you did to get you to this point. And then tell us, what is this point today?
Yeah, sure. So like right when I joined council, the exact same day. So I raised the money to join council because I had no money. Found somebody to invest in me. At the same day is when I bought my pawn shop. And just for clarifications, it's not actually a pawn shop, it's a buyback store, but we'll say pawn shop just for ease of things. So bought the pawn shop same day. I structured that completely OPM with working out a great deal, win-win scenario with my old boss, and then raising the capital I needed to be able to fund the purchase. And at that point, at the time I was like, thinking I was, I'm so smart doing all of this stuff. But at the time, I didn't realize that all I did was just buy myself a job. And the first 3 months was just insane. So trying to juggle mentorship and trying to implement the stuff you guys are teaching me, at the same time trying to run a business all on my own. And I remember on the 3rd month, I'll never forget, I get home and I'm just done. Like, everything's failing. I'm miserable. And I remember calling you at like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. I ended up going for a walk because I just couldn't focus. And you're like, okay, do you want the answer or do you want me to just make you feel better? I'm like, I want the answer. Just tell me the answer. You're like, you need to raise more money. You need to get and hire right away. I was like, I don't have any money to do that. All of this was done. Like, I can't do that. And you're like, I don't want to hear it. Just go do it. If not, just keep doing what you're doing. So then I, listened to you. I went, raised the money, made that first hire, and then boom, there was all my time back. And then I raised more money, made the second hire, started using that money to start marketing properly. I partnered with another council member to start doing some marketing for the flipping company. So at the time now I have a flipping company and the pawn shop. And so pawn shop's getting a new hire. It's starting to run smooth. I have my time back. I'm able to do the marketing over here with another partner, able to leverage their time, end up hiring a phone intake person for my marketing. From there, I found a sales guy to help shadow me and do my acquisitions. And it was just off to the races after that. So I went from 3 months just banging my head against the wall, not asking for help, for one phone call to flip it all around within 3 or 4 weeks. And it went from 0 to 3 houses in the flipping company right away. From our first campaign, we got 3 properties under that campaign. It was amazing. And then the pawn shop started running on its own without me. So I was no longer working in that. I was actually owning the business.
So give us a sense. What does the business look like today? How many employees do you have? What are the different divisions of your company?
So like I'll start with the pawn shops. Pawn shop's unbelievable now. So I just promoted our the manager, that first acquisition. I've just promoted her to COO of my company. She is then it built, hired a manager, a supervisor, and a couple base employees, one for online, one for retail. We're looking to expand, like we're getting new software and new opportunities in that store. We've about 10x all the assets in the store, and almost almost tripled the income coming in. Because every time you make a hire, you know, the income's not always there, right? So you go down for every hire you make, right? Yeah, it's unbelievable, and we were able to start the lending division that I've been waiting since January to start, a parallel company that is going to work in the subprime lending space, and also do some real estate lending as well. And that was been a big thing on my what I've always wanted to do. And then the flipping company, we have the lead intake. We have 3 people on our sales team. We have 3 general contractors in 3 separate areas with their own crews. We have 7 flips on the go currently, and we've done 17 deals total. And the cherry on top is we're acquiring our first boat in the water, you could say, is our apartment building on Friday. I'm flying out to Alberta, and we just closed on a 29 unit.
Dude, absolutely incredible. Like, and it just sounds so normal rolling off the tongue, but like a year ago when we're talking and you're like, you know, $500, right? To basically it's 3 divisions. You have a lending business. There's a pawn shop that's got employees. And just to be clear, guys, these are real businesses. These are real businesses that are growing, because all of my conversations with TJ for the last year have been about business development mindset, raise capital, do a business, hire people, grow, revenue, documentation, financial reporting. Like, again, it's the business of real estate investing, which is why TJ, I think like you're doing so great. I'm really excited for your lending division as well, which is now, I know you're funding people in their renovations, funding people, like somebody you literally borrowed money to get mentorship. And now you're the guy that lends money to people to fund their deals, their renovations, and mentorship. So if anybody's looking for funding, you know, definitely connect with TJ. So TJ, there's a lot. You're doing a lot. Only you and I can ever know the conversations we've had. Talk about that first couple of months, man. Like, I want people to understand mentorship is not a free pass. This is not freaking Willy Wonka, and I'm not the golden ticket, right? Just be clear here for a moment, because I don't want to give a false narrative to people. You are not going to like get mentorship, whether it's 1,000, 5,000, or 30,000. You're not going to get mentorship and then you're rich. It's not how this plays out. Mentorship is the start. I committed. I'm fearful. It's going to be hard, but I'm here. And the difference is you have somebody holding your hand to do the journey together. Can you maybe give us a sense? I think this is going to be really key. The first 2 or 3 months where you're struggling and you're busting your ass and you're struggling, you're busting your ass, and maybe you want to quit. I don't know. Give people a sense. What is that journey like? And then before the breaking point happens and then you hockey stick up. Give people the real truth, man, because they deserve to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I was tearing my hair out. Like, it was insane. Like, I was blaming everything around me. I was so angry, and I was doing 12, 15-hour days, seeing absolutely no profit whatsoever. I kept having to raise more money and put more in there, whatever it was. And I was 12, 15-hour days just grinding, but like as an employee, like nothing just because I'm working, there was no needle being moved in any which way. It was just my time would disappear. And I was just like, holy crap, what did I do like all of this for, when the whole reason was like I wanted my time back. Like I wanted to spend time with my family, and now I'm coming home when the kids are in bed, and that's not what I wanted. And it was really hard the first 3 months. Like, I was blaming the world. I was going to quit council. I was going to close the store. I was just going to go back out west. And these type of things like were always running through my head. And you got to grind and do these things. Like, I was used to doing 12, 15-hour days out west. So doing this at home just became natural. But you got to put in the work to be able to do that. So when the hockey stick started, like you used the hockey stick reference. So when I started to kind of pivot up, this is when, had the phone call with you, started making the hire. It still took training. It still took time and effort and they weren't able to work every single day of every single whatever, right? So in that week span as that's going on, like I started the marketing a little bit before I made the hire. So for full context, I was when I did my first campaign, I had a ridiculous turnout. I had about 200 calls coming in on my first campaign. Best campaign I've ever done to this day. But I was the only person doing it. So I was answering the calls while running the store, while doing everything. So if you can imagine, you're a customer walking into my store trying to buy something off the shelf, and you have me on the phone talking to, hey, the interested seller looking to sell their house. And I'm going like this to the customer, being like, shh, I'm on the phone, right? Or like, I can't talk to you right now. Give me 2 seconds. It's an important call, and these are the type of things that would happen. And I'd have to go out and put a be back in 5 minutes sign just to answer some 10 calls that I missed, or stay 3 hours late to catch up the calls that I didn't miss and schedule walkthroughs to try and acquire the properties. So like, these are the type of things that I had to do to make this happen. So it didn't all just fall into place all at once. Like, it sounds, good, rolls off the tongue nice when I say the story earlier, but there was good days, bad days, hard days. A little bit of a funny story is I was a mortgage agent before. And when I did that campaign, I got so much realtor hate in my area. Because in my flyer, it said save on real estate commissions. And about 50 of those 200 calls I got was realtors being like, every name in the book you could imagine, what you're doing is illegal, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, actually, you need to learn a little bit about real estate. But at that point, my old boss gave me kind of an ultimatum, was like, look, you either have to stop what you're doing and you can still be a mortgage agent, or we got to separate ways, because you're destroying my brand over here with all of this relationship I have with these realtors. They all hate my business now because I'm attached to you. I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. We went our separate ways, and and then now I'm here, right? So yeah.
So what's cool, a little paradigm shift for folks, man, because I know we got a couple minutes. You went from being a mortgage broker, lending other people's money, AKA kind of job, to now you are the lender. It's your lending capital. You're doing the deals. And guys, I think to have a hockey stick, you got to have a grind. When I started this, guys, I'm cleaning carpets at 10 cents a square foot so that I could make some money, so I could go and try to look at some real estate. And I'm grinding, looking at deals, and then going to do carpet cleaning, and then scrubbing toilets, and then carpet cleaning. There's a level of rigor, RIGOR. There's a level of grit. There's a level of determination. I think there's a false positive, which is this. You're going to somehow, you make $40 an hour, $30 an hour at your job. You make $60,000, $70,000 a year. You work 40 hours a week, but somehow you're going to go and work like half an hour a week in real estate and make 30 grand. Guys, this is not reality, not in a hot market. You need a plan. You need to get serious. You need to get committed. And TJ, I acknowledge you, brother, publicly for getting committed. Now, and the reason you had a hockey stick is because you had pressure. Nobody's getting a hockey stick growth unless there's a ton of pressure at this level. Just as you. Pawn shop, let's go. Real estate flipping, let's go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a lending business. Let's go. See, you're that guy who's just moving in faith, and you're pushing forward, and we're fixing the problems as we go. And friends, there's nothing wrong with that. But TJ, you've come incredibly far in a year. Most people will not be able to do that in that short period of time unless they're willing to encounter the grit. Now, here's the fallacy. There's a lot of hard workers in this world. The guy that works at Tim Hortons in the drive-thru is a hard worker. The guy on the factory floor is a hard worker. The guy flipping houses is a hard worker. The only difference is one vehicle pays you more than the other. Hard work is not the determining factor. Are you in the right vehicle? Do you understand? They say that there's the things that you know. There's the things that you think you know, which in your case was probably some of these realtors who really didn't bother to read the RICO guidelines accurately. And then there's the things that you don't even know that you don't even know. And by the way, that is about 90% plus. So TJ, I'm thankful for you, man. Thankful for sharing your story. You're just an awesome inspiration for a lot of people, especially a lot of young fathers like you, who are trying to make it work, who are trying to do the small business thing, who are trying to find some opportunities. And you were able to use the strategies for creative finance to apply to even other businesses. So, dude, freaking awesome. I'm proud of you. TJ, where can people connect with you, buddy? Get some more information from you, to connect with you, to see what you got going.
Yeah, so it's in my right at the bottom of the screen. At Flipping Simcoe is my Instagram. My Facebook is just my name, TJ Ainsborough. And yeah, I'm always available, guys. Just shoot me a DM on any of those platforms, and we can connect. And yeah.
And from me to you, one last thing I know that's really cool, guys. Friends and family, when we get into real estate, we want to get in so we can make some money. But at some point, we make enough money where we're good financially. And then it becomes about, what do we care about in life? And just about every person out there cares about one thing: impact. They want to help people. You want to help yourself because you want to help other people. And TJ, you've been a great example of that, man. Always making time for new investors, making time for new business owners, especially within our council network. You're investing and pouring in them. And I think that that's part of the success, is you're willing to give before you're asked, right? It's the whole thing about being an ask hole. You're not that. You're a guy who's really giving your time, your energy, the most valuable things we have. And I think you're seeing some of the abundance come back your way. So, folks, I encourage you, number one, call TJ if you need financing on anything real estate mentorship related. This is your guy. Get a hold of him ASAP. And I think you're a great example of what we have here for Council Champions Day today. Thank you, TJ. Friends and family, I hope you're having an amazing time with us here, listening to some of these cool stories. I know that I'm inspired, and I'm really happy. I've been looking forward to this moment for months, because I really wanted to be able to share these stories with you. These are real people, Canadians in Canada. And we launched this company as a kick in the face to everybody else out there who says that you can't do this, or to maybe other groups or coaching businesses that, will sell you a course and say bye-bye, or, they'll sell you a condo and say bye-bye. We're not here to sell you on anything. I believe in teaching a person how to fish, not giving them the fish, and definitely not selling you a fish that makes you subservient to keep coming back and buying more fish. Let us teach you how to fish so that you can become a long-term fisherman, fisherwoman. You can go and make your own impact and your own income in this world. Here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and snap a picture of this QR code right now. We're giving out $1,000 cash in the next hour and a half. And all you need to do is book a complimentary mentorship assessment call with us. It is not a pressure test. It is a conversation to see if one of our programs is right for you. We'd love to get to know you. That's always an introduction. Simply jump on a call with Sarah, have a conversation. She'll get to know you, and she'll be able to direct you. And by the way, we have free programs. We have paid programs. We have weekend programs. We have in-person. We have online. And we are Canada-wide, from Ontario to Quebec to all across the West Coast. We are here. We have a virtual learning environment. We have some in-person opportunities. So friends, go ahead and snap a picture of that QR code. Go to the link right now. Book a free complimentary call. And somebody here, maybe Lori, who's been very active in the comments, might just win $1,000 in the next hour and a half. And if you don't believe me, if you're skeptical, Steven, then stick around for the next hour and a half and watch me give some cash away, because we're living in abundance and we're so happy to share it with you. We will be right back after this short video.
Hey guys, my name is TJ.
I'm Callie Braithwaite.
My name's Alex Mustatea.
Hello, my name is Catherine O'Neill.
My name is Alex Solga.
I had to go out west, 2 to 3 months at a time, and leave my family here.
Real estate was always the end game to get me out of the 9-to-5 rat race.
I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship.
An old boss of mine mentioned her 5 real estate investment properties.
From 2012 to 2017, I had an absolute horrible experience. I was the hardest working guy I knew, and I was the brokest guy I knew.
And that's when I started flipping and failing and stuff, and then I just get frustrated because the time, it wasn't fast enough.
Discovered I was going in totally the wrong direction.
I made a promise to myself that I was going to be home with my family and watch them grow.
I knew there had to be a better way, and that's one of the big reasons why I joined Council.
Thought to myself, I've got to join this group. Joined Council, and I've been delighted ever since.
I learned about positive self-talk, mindset shift, how to actually build a business.
Like I've got 12 flips as of this year, 7 flips currently as I'm standing here, a business that's operating completely on its own. I have a lending company.
I was able to get into my first flip, and we were able to turn a $50,000 profit.
I'm learning things that I never knew before. Strategies were refined. I was able to build up confidence.
I believe that we can all win together. That's my preferred way of being.
It's awesome helping people because as much as I want to build my real estate portfolio, I love inspiring and helping people.
All right, welcome back, friends and family. Hope you're enjoying these amazing stories that we have here for you today. Real, impactful, honest stories from real Canadians, seemingly normal Canadians who have had a job, who have gone to school, who have lived a life or are starting to live a life, and they've all have one thing in common. They wanted to pursue real estate investing, specifically the business of real estate investing, once they realized that creating a business really is the secret. So if you're here seeing us for the first time or the 10th time, I would encourage you, challenge some of the status quo around you. Challenge the limiting beliefs around you. I believe every person has an opportunity to create the life that they want. I'm a big believer in this. There's a book I read many years ago, and it's called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. If you've never read this book, I encourage you to pick it up. And the 4-Hour Work Week is all about creating the kind of life that matters by simply knocking over big dominoes versus all the little things that keep us busy. So it's about learning to be productive instead of busy. Productive equals success and lifestyle. Busy is lost in minutia. And my next guest, I'm really excited to bring him up here because he has an incredible story that resonates with a lot of people. And before I do that, I recognize that you're here and you're considering perhaps getting mentorship, or maybe you're just curious. I'd highly recommend do yourself a favor. Go ahead and click on the link that's scrolling across the bottom. I know I keep bringing it up because I'm trying to give out $1,000 to somebody, but I think you're going to regret not just missing out on the $1,000 if you don't click the link. I think you're frankly going to regret not having an opportunity to connect with somebody who has the level of experience to listen to you and offer you some guidance in life. Whether it's moving into mentorship, whether it's starting a business, whether it's actually not doing anything for the next 3 or 4 months, until you get your basic financial things in order, I think you owe it to yourself to simply have a conversation with us and our team and get to know who we are. And we want to give you an opportunity to do that right now. Snap a picture of the QR code or click the link below so we can jump on to the next piece. And we're going to give out in the next hour and a half $1,000 to somebody who has already done this. Friends and family, I hope you're enjoying this. And if you are, we'd love to do more to serve you and impact you in a meaningful way. And I want to bring up my next guest, my good friend, Callie. Callie is an absolute stud, Callie Braithwaite. And to understand Callie, you got to understand the level of energy. So get excited with me. By the way, if you're here right now, do me a favor, share this stream out. I might just give out a prize to somebody who shares this thing out. So do click the share button before we get started with the next conversation. Callie is an absolute, what we call stud. He's the man asking, where are the deals? Every time we get on a live call together, it's actually become kind of his calling card. You may have heard about him with Grow with Callie, which is another one of his statements. And Callie is the guy who's the JV king. He's done different types of deals all across the country, from Moncton all the way to out west. He's always dialoguing. So he's such a fresh breath of fresh air. And he and I have even vacationed together last year. And it's been such a cool privilege to watch him grow, do deals across the country, partner with people, raise capital, and really integrate himself in our community. So share out the stream right now. Get ready to bring up some comments. Let me welcome my good friend, my brother, Mr. Callie. Callie, welcome, man.
Yo, how's it going, Ben? Thanks a lot. That was a great intro. I was a little worried because I thought it was a setup going after TJ. It's hard to match, but that was a awesome intro, man. I really appreciate it.
Bro, I'm so happy that you're here, man. And again, I'm sharing out publicly today. It's my public declaration of love and support and admiration for you guys. But you specifically, Callie, I really love your story, how far you've come. And you've got such a beautiful journey from where you were to where you are today, game changing. I think it's night and day in terms of who you are, what you're doing, the revenue and everything else. So Callie, I'm excited to deep dive into your story here a little bit so you can share with folks Grow with Cali, where all that whole thing came from. Can we kick it off, man? Can you give us a sense? Where were you prior to joining council? What were you doing for work? Some of that stuff here. Give us some context.
For sure, yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting that TJ and I had a similar background as far as the location where we were. So I was working as a journeyman steam fitter, pipe fitter in northern Alberta, traveling every couple weeks, leaving my family, and still, trying to grow in the real estate business virtually, but really without any guidance or like clarity as to like how to get it done a quick enough way so that I can get out of this, traveling, leaving my family every 2 weeks. The family was growing, and I really wanted to fast track my exit. So I've been investing for roughly 12 years, and real estate was always in my mind the key to get me out of working the rat race, out of working 9 to 5, or actually it was more like 7 to 7, right? The work that I was doing out there, 12 hours a day. And the way I was doing it was very, slow and passive, just, buying a long-term hold and collecting a couple $100s a month of rent, if that sometimes, and then doing the whole refinance thing. But really the income that I was generating wasn't enough to support the lifestyle that we and myself and the family wanted to live. So I realized at the beginning of 2020 that I needed to make a change. I needed something that I was doing. I didn't have the answer. So I realized, what? I have to do something different. I need to invest in myself. I saw a lot of the posts that you had going on about CashFlow Tribe, and I really admired the energy that you conveyed, and talking to people, it just resonated with me. And that was one of the things that drew me a little closer, started making me pay closer attention to, what you were talking about, your story, your past, and just how much you really wanted to push people. That's what made me gravitate towards where I am today. So fast forward, I started investing in myself really heavily, joined council in May of 2020, and started making some awesome partnerships, found ways to create value for other people that might not have seen how they could make more with the capital they had or whatever resources they had, whether it was a deal, whether it was capital, whether it was time, and just really emphasizing and focusing on connecting the dots, seeing where I could fit into this puzzle, right? Be that piece to just make that puzzle complete was really what I enjoyed doing. And I found a way to be able to do it. And I gained the confidence of doing it by listening and learning and watching, a lot of your conversations and mentorship and just that accountability and that push, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Bro, I love your thinking and your vibe, because you're like me. We're both very observant people, right? We're like watching, we're learning, we're trying to figure out, we're kind of people, right? So if you're a competitive guy or a girl, you're out there, you're like, okay, how do I win, man? How do I get an advantage of what I'm doing? And before I deep dive that a little bit, here's what I'd like you to do. Go back to where you said, I had some property, but I had some cash flow, but it wasn't enough. I think there's this idea, Cali, where if I only get my 5 duplexes, somehow I'm going to have that mailbox money and I can quit my job. I think it's a lie. I think what the world is telling you is wrong. Can you tell us like how many properties you had and what was maybe like the net income, monthly cash flow that you were bringing in off those properties?
Yeah, great question. So I think before I joined council, I had roughly 10 income properties and 10 doors. And the net income was like $1,000 a month. I mean, equity, I had equity in those properties. You know what I mean? Like equity was great. It helped me get to in a lot of the deals that I'm working on now, but cash flow just wasn't there after doing the refinance, pulling that money out and buying something else. Each time I would do a refi, that cash flow would decrease, right? So, that's pretty much.
So the story is you have 10 properties. You did the birthing, right? You pulled out as much as they let you pull out. You kept buying more, and then you got $1,000 a month with 10 properties. You're like, crap. People need to know, bro. Like people need to know the truth. That is not the plan. You're going to be cash flow broke. You're going to be equity rich or whatever, And I'm looking at this years ago going, well, if you want to fix the cash flow issue, why don't you use the actual equity? I don't know how to do that. Well, that's the problem. So do you agree that there's maybe like a little bit of a false positive around buy one, burr it, and then because you have 10, and that's a lot for most people. What do you think?
Yeah,
you doing it over again? What advice would you give somebody on that segment of your growth?
Yeah, I would definitely say that it's helpful to have, some active side of the business, right? So I was doing it all on my own primarily, where I could scale a lot more if I had brought in other people and made them some money. So the intention wasn't for me to be greedy. I just didn't know how to get my ability to find these opportunities. I didn't know how to get that message out to other people to invest with me. So if I was to do it all over again, I would really emphasize on bringing other people in, because that would just help me scale that much more, right? So I felt like I was accomplishing something I'm getting a deal a year, right? I thought this is awesome. Like this is, but now I'm looking at it like, a deal to 2 deals a month, right? So it's totally different. With the active team.
It's the proximity of who you're spending time with. I mean, if everybody in your circle is doing a deal a year and, you're in one of those groups that hands out business cards every meeting and nobody really knows each other intimately, nobody's really doing deals, nobody's really working together, they're all just working for their own, then a deal a year sounds okay until you realize like, wow, well, this other group, these guys are doing like you, a deal or 2 a month. That's a whole different realm than a deal a year. So give us maybe some tactics. I'd love to get people a little bit more strategic here. What did you start doing after you joined? Because I know we had a conversation, like I want to quit my job next year. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. You ain't taking the whole year. We're doing that sooner, right? Like I was pushing on you. I remember, can you give us some of the tactics that allowed you to make that transition, quit your job? How did you work your resources differently?
Yeah, so I have a bit of a background in sales. So prior to going out to Northern Alberta, working in oil sand, I was a licensed mortgage agent. So I was selling mortgages across the country. And I was comfortable talking to people about real estate and about their houses and all that stuff. So I figured, I heard a lot about these wholesale campaigns, assignments, finding deals off market. I said, that would be awesome. I knew that I could do a campaign for several $1,000s, $3,000 to $4,000, get enough flyers out there to hit enough people in a market where I can talk to them and, offer them to a fair price to buy their property that needs work, where I can create value. So what I did is I actually partnered with another council member who was very experienced in the wholesaling in another market. So he was in Windsor, I was in the GTA. I had some capital that I could invest. I didn't want to do a campaign all on my own, very first campaign. So I kind of went in a little safe, a little conservative and said, hey man, let's split this campaign. Let's partner up on this. I'll take all the calls. You can do the walkthroughs. You can, do the offer presentations if they're in person, or I can do them over the phone. And we kind of decided that, we both invested our capital, but we invested our time in different ways, right? So we found a way to make it work for both of us. And through that campaign, I think we were able to get like 2 deals out of it, which was, it paid back the money that we invested, and we made a profit. So it gave me a little bit more proof of concept. And I took that experience and I started doing the same thing, partnering with other people in different markets. So we went out to Peterborough, we did stuff in Oshawa, Brantford, and that really was like, for me, it was kind of exciting being able to, show other people, hey, we can partner, I'll invest in you, I'll help you out throughout the journey. I have a little bit of experience. I've talked to several people. I think it's not that complicated. And why don't we try and do this together and let's make some money together, right? And that's kind of how it started.
So, you got a good flow about you with this, because now I know you've done deals in Moncton. You just actually came back from there. You took a little trip. You're doing deals in Windsor. Can you give some new people some advice, man? Does everybody overcomplicate this, or are they just not looking at it through the right lens of it's a business? Or where do you think people really, really struggle, where you obviously have some pretty good success in the last year?
Yeah, I think like action, taking action is the most common denominator for a lot of us that aren't seeing the results or aren't getting involved in real estate the way we want to. Again, taking action by investing in myself, right? Realizing that, hey man, it's the network, right? Your network is your net worth. You know what I mean? So being a council member, being in this mastermind, that's my network. That's a huge part of my network. A lot of these deals that I've been done in the last 16, 18 months have been with people within this network, right? So first of all, I decided to invest in myself, get some coaching, get some mentorship, get in a room with other active investors who also are pushing themselves to get bigger results. From doing that, then also because we're getting the same training, the same coaching, the same mentorship, it just makes things easier when we're looking to get into a deal, right? As far as, if we have questions, hey, Ben, this is what we're thinking of. Us too, we did our PI index, our predictive index, which basically is like a personality kind of thing. And it says, hey, Callie, these are your characteristics. You work really good with someone who has these characteristics because they're going to pick up in the areas that you lack in, and vice versa. So then we kind of partner together strategically, and we go and we start taking down deals and finding ways to just grow our wealth and, get returns for our investors.
Dude, you're making it sound easy over here. Like, and you know what? When you're doing it with such style and charisma, it is easy because, you're a sales guy, right? You've got some sales experience in the past. Then you go out west and start working on the rig thing. And that's a period of your life. And for how long, Callie, were you back and forth away from family and stuff?
10 years. 10 years. Yeah.
Wow. So it took you 10 years to buy those 10 properties too. Is that right?
Yeah.
10 years? Okay, so 10 years on the rig, 10 years buying real estate, one deal a year for 10 years. Now you've been a member here for just over a year. Can you give us a sense how many deals you've done after that, just in the last year and a half or 2 years? How many deals are we talking about here?
Yeah, so transactions, I think we're like pretty close to 20. That's including assignments, that's flips, wholesales, long-term holds. We're also, I would easily say pretty close to 20 deals.
Wow.
Right now, today, I have 6 flips, active flips that are going on in Ontario, in Moncton, and, looking for more. It's been great. It's been really, really good.
What's funny about that here? So, I've had different people here on Champions Day, and, we got Alex, I got 7 flips on the go. TJ's, I got 7 flips. Callie's like, I got 6 flips. 6 is the lowest number we've had today.
That's embarrassing. No, I'm just joking.
It's like that adage where, like, in one room, 50 grand is a lot of money. In other room, 50 grand is a horrible month, right?
Yeah.
So when you're in this room, you're like, man, I'm at 6. Now you're going to go home and do a deal this weekend because there's no way you're going to lose out to TJ. And just to be clear, these aren't all the same deals. This is 7 here, 6 over here. And I think it's so cool. I don't know if you have maybe 1 or 2 with these guys on the go. I don't know if you're doing a deal with Alex right now or not, but
not right now. No,
not yet. Right. So that when you run, what kind of horse are you running with? Is it a Clydesdale horse that's like top of its breed, best in class, 6 to 7 deals, 10 deals a month is the average? Or do you run with people that are doing 1 deal a year? Can you talk about maybe some of the network? Because I don't believe all networking is the same. I think that there's different levels to how you network and with who. You're a great networker. Can you maybe share on some of your thoughts on how to best network with people? What kind of rooms are better than other rooms? Give us some of your thoughts.
Yeah, man, great question. So for me, I think what's really pushed me is just being in this room, being in council. Like, we're on a lot of calls, Zoom calls. Everyone has a chance, an opportunity to kind of share what they're working on, what challenges they're facing, how their business is growing. By me being in that room and listening to other people talk about their wins, and it pushes me. Like you just mentioned, everyone else has 7, I got 6. It's kind of a good thing because now I have something to look forward to, right? I can push a little harder to get another deal by the end of this call. So, hey, anyone listening here, you got deals, you give me a shout, and we'll hook up and get on a call later and talk about how we can make it happen. Yeah.
I'm going to start a new charity just on this call. We all need to help Callie get 1 more deal before this call is over.
That's right.
He only has an hour before this whole segment is over. So, guys, we need to rally around Callie and help us grow with Callie because my man needs at least one more deal. Otherwise, he's the odd man out, and the other children on the playground will pick on him. So
That's right.
But, I'm teasing you, man, but this is real stuff. Like, the people in your proximity are the people that you're going to be, always nose and nose with. Like, okay, well, if this guy's at 7, I need to get to 7. And by the way, folks, it started at 1. So if you're brand new, so many of you are brand new, you're like, wow, 7 sounds insane. Let's get to 1. We got people doing 1 that are started. We currently have 42 members in council, and this is not a volume club. This is a value club. So if you join council, you need to understand that there's an ROI factor and there's a contribution. Callie, if you had to take a guess, man, what do you think your return on investment for council has been? Can you give us a number and a multiple of what that looks like?
Yeah, I would say, you know what? Interesting enough, it's probably pretty close to 10x. When I haven't done the math until you asked me the question, but I think I'm pretty close to 10x. 10x is the answer, my friend. But you're on mute.
Did you say 10x?
Yeah, I would say 10x.
I think there's another guy talking about 10x out there, but I think we might be the real 10x up in here.
You know what the biggest thing is, Ben? What's really cool is that when I was sitting on the sideline and watching, because I joined council fairly early in the growth of it, right? I think things started in January of 2020, and it was May when I got in. So I sat on the sideline for about 5 months, and I watched some of the people who joined in January. And I started watching them on, their social media presence, the successes that they were having. They were posting these wins, and I was like, okay, cool. These are real people. I was on just the regular CashFlow Tribe calls with them before they joined up, and I remember talking to them on Zoom, virtually, hearing where they were at in their journey, and knowing that these are not like paid people that are just like they're getting paid to show a picture that wasn't real, right? So I had a chance to talk to them and have, deep conversations, get to know them and see exactly like what is really good. And by doing that, it gave me confidence to know that, hey, man, you know what? These guys put in the work. They showed up, right? They took action, and now they're getting results. So I knew that I could do that too. And that's what made me kind of join and say, look, Callie, you deserve this. Like, you've been doing this for as long as you have, slowly on the sidelines in real estate, not really getting the results and the cash flow that you wanted or the income that you wanted from these things. What is it going to take? So I realized that there was other people doing it. That gave me the confidence to know that if they can do it, I can do it. The same way that if I can do it, someone else out there is watching can know that, hey, you can do it too. And if you don't believe me, call me. Let's talk about it.
Dude, that's such a powerful encouragement for people. And I'm glad that we put this whole day here together talking about champions, because I think you are a champion, man. And I think you're a kind of person where people can look at you as an example, a role model of somebody who is a family man, somebody who did make a commitment to working out west. And you're back and forth for 10 years to buy 10 deals. And I look at that and I go, and I'm not trying to belittle that, friends. Like, if that's what you've done, that's yesterday. But there's got to be a level where, what about tomorrow? What about right now? What about what I'm doing the next 12 months? Regardless of what you've done until this point, hindsight is, who cares? It's yesterday. We don't live in the past. I think there's an element when you have allies and people of value where we don't talk about yesterday. We're like, hey, man, you're on 6 deals tomorrow. That's yesterday's news. What'd you do today? That level of attention and focus and clarity, I think, is so valuable. And I appreciate the push because I get inspired by you guys looking at it. And as the mentor, I'm like, well, I mean, dude, I better do more than all 3 of them combined. Like, let's go, right? Like, so we got to put 22 deals on the board this month just to make this thing, serious. But Callie, I really appreciate you, man. I know that yours is the easiest moniker to follow. Grow with Callie. My man needs one more deal. Grow with Callie. You hit him up on Instagram, Callie Braithwaite, on Facebook. Callie, is there another way people can reach out to you, or are those the 2 best ways?
Those are the 2 best ways. We can hop on a call anytime, but those are the 2 best ways.
I love it. Callie, thank you so much, man, for sharing your wisdom. Appreciate you as part of our community, man, and go get that last deal. The day is running out on you, man. So thank you, Callie. Take care, my man.